Lung transplantation is the most complex medical endeavor undertaken by mankind. APJ Kalam says that we are not a screwdriver nation. We are intelligent and we can do it. I became a faculty where I did 71 lung transplants in 105 days. I practiced regular general adult cardiac surgery for 10 years.
How did you opt for cardiothoracic surgery, sir?
At that time, there were only three vocations. Most students would choose medicine,
engineering,
and law,
Law.
or chartered accountancy.
Okay. Is transplant only for the rich?
Right now, lung transplantation is only with the corporates. There is no government institution or program which is running a lung transplant program.
But I'm sure it was not just about money. You were depressed because of their words, and
Correct. I was
you lost
depressed.
hope that.
This
Okay.
malaria and malnutrition
Nutrition.
was the words they wrote on my mind.
Why none of the surgeon took up the case?
There was no heart and lung transplant in India at that time. None of the surgeons were doing it. So I wrote to Dr. Bruce Wrights, who had done the first heart-lung transplant in the world.
So what make a surgeon a great surgeon, sir?
No, the great surgeons are those who will work quietly. When I used to watch Dr. Bhattacharya operate, I used to think that here is a craftsman who is totally focused, has completely lost in the creative concentration of his work, and all that inspired me. That's what I call great surgeon.
How do you feel when all these patients call you back and they keep in touch when they are living their second life? How do you feel about it?
This thing for me, I work for the Lord.
Hi guys, and welcome to my pod. Myself Dr. Rafath, and today in my studio I'm sitting with a legend in lung transplant surgery, Dr. Jnanaesh Thacker, who is flying all from Mumbai to Hyderabad just to be on this show. Welcome sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rafath, for having me.
Well, I'm excited after a very long plannings, and I think it was very long-standing dream where I used to think that I will be calling you for a episode, but finally it has happened today. I'm very excited, and okay, let's start the show. How are you feeling?
Great, Rafath, to be with you. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, it was like very long-standing plan. We were thinking since years, I think, that we'll do a pod. Finally, it's happening. I'm so happy. So, are you excited?
I am, absolutely, to meet you and to see you and to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been very long. ठीक है. I think we have already wasted a lot of time. I will not take much of your time. So, we'll just start like, I want to know what your journey, like, can you just tell us or share your journey of becoming a surgeon, or at least maybe how you opted medicine, like why you opted medicine? Was there any person or influence in your early childhood or your early days which make you or which influence you to choose medicine?
Interesting. I chose medicine because in my younger days was influenced by one of the girls in our building who wanted to do medicine,
Okay.
and I also was one of the toppers in school throughout my school days. So I thought that at that time there were only three vocations. Most students would choose medicine,
engineering,
and law,
Law.
or chartered accountancy.
Okay.
So out of these three, it is not like today. The fifth generation they have multiple choices. At that time, good students would choose one of these three.
Okay.
So of these three,
If somebody is not opting one of these, they just simply imply that they are not good with their studies.
no, then they would go into business or they would look at employments in various places. So they would make their life into a job, whereas I wanted to pursue a career. My father was a chartered accountant, so I
Okay. So,
thought that I would do medicine. He took me to his office in one vacation in school time, and At the end of that 1 month which I spent with him, I concluded that I don't want to be a chartered accountant.
Okay. Then you
In fact, he took me to motivate me to take up chartered accountancy.
but you decided that you will not become a chartered accountant.
Yeah, and that was a time when I decided, because actually he wrote down on a page in a book, Dr. Jnanaesh Thacker, MBBS, FRCS.
Okay, you know all these degrees even then.
No, my father wrote it down and put my name and then wrote these degrees behind my name.
Okay.
FRCS, Edinburgh. Yeah, that's
You
what he
started
wrote.
manifesting that time. Okay. Then
He was a guy who motivated, I
okay,
think.
your father
Subconsciously.
subconsciously. Okay. And that girl in your building.
And the girl was also taking medicine, but
Did she take?
She took medicine.
Okay.
And then after 1 year, she got married to a senior, and she left medicine, and now she's in US.
Okay. Then how did you opt for cardiothoracic surgery, sir? Like,
Yeah, now when I was in medical college, I read a book called Healing Knife
Okay.
by Dr. George Sawa.
okay.
When I read that book and I saw this doctor's passion to become a surgeon, that's how I decided that I would like to do surgery.
Surgery.
And when but actually during my phase in medical college, most of my colleagues were wanting to do internal medicine. So in their friendship and in their this thing, I took up actually medicine as my first house post.
Okay.
And after 4 months of house post, I had gone to taken a patient of mitral stenosis to an OPD in KEM hospital for recruiting him for CMC, for closed mitral commissurotomy. That time this was an operation. So I was standing outside the OPD. Dr. Sharath Pandey was a cardiothoracic surgeon, and when he saw me, he called me inside. And at that time I had read a book called Making of a Surgeon. So my dream of becoming a surgeon got reignited by reading Professor Ayanard's book, and that is the story I told Dr. Sharath Pandey as I sat in his OPD with a patient who was to be operated for closed mitral commissurotomy. Complicated.
It looks like divine was working with you all the time.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So Dr. Pandey, I told him that I've read this book and I want to be a surgeon.
So you have done this mitral valve closure during your surgery?
No. Mitral valve patients, what we used to do is I used to work in a small hospital.
Okay.
We used to take patients who needed cardiac surgery evaluation to a OPD in KEM hospital. So
This was
MGM
during your MS surgery?
No, this was when I had finished MBBS and I was doing my house post in medicine.
During house surgeonship only? Okay.
I was a medical houseman.
Okay.
After 4 months of being a houseman, I had on Friday afternoon at 1:30, KM Hospital, Sharath Pandey has his OPD. He is a famous cardiothoracic surgeon at that time.
Okay.
He is probably, Snehalata Pandey, who was Rekha's best friend, the film actress Rekha's
I'm not so aware
best
about
at that time. Of course,
Okay.
this is, you're talking about baby boomers and you are a millennial. So we
I'm
are
not-
talking generations
Yeah.
apart. So at that time, Rekha was a very top film actress. Her best friend was Snehalata Pandey, who was Sharath Pandey's wife. And Sharath Pandey himself was a famous cardiothoracic surgeon. And he had his OPD on Friday afternoon in KEM hospital at 1:30. So we used to take all the patients over there
For
and
evaluation.
get an appointment
Okay.
for surgery.
Okay.
He used to operate. At that time, I was a medical houseman. When he saw me standing outside in the OPD, he called me inside. Now, I had just read a book, Making of a Surgeon, by Professor Ayanard. So my brain was filled with that. So I told him about that, and he told me, on Thursdays is our operating day, you come every Thursday. So I landed up on Thursday. I took leave from my post and went over there. And on that day, he gave me a suturing board, an Ethicon not tying board.
That's so kind of him, huh? He's
And
encouraging.
he gave me a needle holder.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of my association with surgery once again.
Nice. Wonderful, sir.
And then, when I was a general surgery registrar at Jaslok Hospital, after our surgeries were over, I used to go to cardiac OT, where Dr. Bhattacharya was operating. That time he was not the great Bhattacharya. He was just had stepped into practice as a cardiac surgeon, and I used to go and watch him operate, and I was fascinated by the way he used to operate. So that his surgery and Sharad Pandey all together worked in my mind and took me towards leaning towards cardiothoracic surgery. So that's what inspired me, these two great surgeons who inspired me to take up cardiac surgery.
You're from Grant Medical College, right, sir, in Mumbai?
Correct, yeah.
As you have
I
mentioned.
did my undergraduate.
After that, MS and MCH?
MS I did from Tata Memorial Hospital.
Okay.
And MCH from KEM Hospital.
Okay. As you mentioned, like great surgeons, what make a surgeon a great surgeon, sir? Do we have like mediocre surgeon and great surgeons? Like, what differentiates a mediocre surgeon from a great surgeon?
Great surgery is my opinion of
What
them.
makes a surgery a great surgery?
I am influenced by them because they had excellent outcomes. They had devotion to their surgery, and they were very skillful. When I used to watch Dr. Bhattacharya operate, I used to think that here is a craftsman who is totally focused, has completely lost in the creative concentration of his work, and all that inspired me to watch him only was a pleasure for me.
Okay.
So that's what
Because
I
you
call
were
great
a
surgeon.
budding surgeon.
At that time, he was not the famous Bhattacharya that he is today, considered one of the greatest surgeons in India for coronary bypass surgery.
Okay.
In my opinion, he might be the greatest surgeon in the whole world for coronary bypass surgery. He is an excellent and skillful surgeon. I used to watch him. That time he used to be operating alone. He had nobody to assist. So every time I would scrub with him, I was just a house surgeon in a registrar in general surgery. And I used to scrub with him. And every time I scrubbed with him, he taught me one technical point, which I have written down in my journal, which I used to journal all the new
Please
things.
share it with us, sir. What is
I'll
that?
be happy to share it, yeah.
Like, he gave you some tips and tricks like
Every time I scrubbed with him, I got one tip from him.
Okay, every day it was one learning from him.
Every time I scrubbed with him because I was in general surgery.
Okay.
So whenever in the afternoon he is alone, I would scrub with him.
Okay. If some surgeons, I mean young surgeons or boys and girls who want to pursue surgery, is there any advice from your end, like to become a best surgeon? Like how to be a best surgeon? How to develop that craft or how to develop that skill? As you mentioned, like surgery is a very creative thing to do. Like your advice for them, like how to master it?
My advice to them is to keep watching great surgeons and to practice surgery.
But they don't know what they're watching is a great or mediocre. They don't know it.
No, the great surgeons are those who will work quietly, who will have excellent, the patients will do well. There will be no shouting, no abusing,
calm mind,
very
okay.
calm, and they will peacefully continue to do silently their work, and gradually the operation will get over, and there will be a kind of exhilaration which may not be expressed, but you can feel that.
Okay.
That's good surgery. Good surgery means no bleeding, clean, dry, this thing. All the tissues are well dissected and everything is stitched up also very nicely.
That takes time, right? I think they have to do it or practice continuously.
Of
then
course, they have to practice. 10,000 hours they have to put in.
10,000 hours. That for any surgeon, it is the same. 10,000 hours they have to do.
That is what
Your surgeons or your mentors told you. Or
no, that is what the guy who wrote Outliers, he found out, he did all the study and he found that if you want to be very skillful, you have to put in 10,000 hours.
You agree with him? Like
I do, yes.
How many hours did you put? I mean, your life.
I must have been, 10,000 hours is easily, but more than that maybe.
More than that.
he studied all these top singers like Beatles and all that, and he found that all of them became exceptionally skillful when they had put in 10,000 hours. So
For
he
any
has
skill, it is same. Like you have to put
any
some
skill, yeah, including your skill.
my podcasting thing. Maybe I'll put it too. Okay, I'm
Yes,
doing it too.
yeah.
Okay.
I wish you all the best.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you
you
so
will
much.
be one of the um, great podcasters. Yes,
Thank you, sir.
it's a great opportunity to learn from people.
Thank you, sir. So you have finished your MS, you finished your cardiothoracic surgery, then you left for US, right?
Yes, then I left for US. I um, stayed in US to learn redo cardiac surgery.
Redo cardiac surgeries. I mean, the surgeries which were already done, then you will
Yeah, and you
redo
have
it.
to reoperate the
Yeah, let's
patients because
suppose mitral
already, yeah, like mitral valve replacement you
is
have
already
done.
done, but
Yeah,
sometimes
or
you
you have
need
done
to
a coronary
repair.
bypass surgery and there is restenosis and you need to do a redo surgery. So that's another higher level of technical expertise
Okay, redo surgeries are difficult than
for
primary
primary
surgeries.
surgeries.
Okay, I didn't know
So,
that. Okay.
so, so redo cardiac surgery. I went there to get more experience and intensify my experience of redo cardiac surgery. I spent 1 year with Dr. Denton Cooley. Then he's one of the giants of cardiac pioneers of cardiac surgery. Then I spent 1 year with Dr. Albert Pacifico and John Kirkland, who has written the textbook of medicine, I mean cardiac surgery. And then I worked with Dr. Norwood and then worked with Dr. Albert Starr for 2 years. Then I came back to India.
So you went to US to learn about redo surgeries. Okay.
Correct. And then after spending 5 years with all the people who are all pioneers in cardiac surgery, I was fortunate. Then I came back to India. I practiced regular general adult cardiac surgery for 10 years. Then in 2003, so I came back in 1995, and then in 2003, my first cousin, he had primary pulmonary hypertension and he needed a heart lung transplant.
Heart and lung double organs.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had cor bovinum and he had heart failure.
Cor bovinum.
Cor
Okay. Explain
bovinum.
to the audience what is cor bovinum.
Cor bovinum means the heart is so enlarged.
Like
Bovinum
bovine
means like a cow's heart,
cow's heart.
huge. It had become, and it is due to the pulmonary right ventricular failure, and then the left ventricle also started to fail. So he needed both. I mean, he needed a heart lung transplant. And at that time, I called up all my teachers, but none of them were ready to or wanted to operate on him.
Double.
Yes. So in 2000, by the end of 2003 and 4, I used to keep taking care of him. And then one day, uh, obviously without surgery, he went into heart failure and he passed away. At that time, I called up. I was just wondering why
Why none of the surgeon took up the case?
there was no heart and lung transplant in India at that time. None of the surgeons were doing it.
Okay.
So there was no program, nothing. So I wrote to Dr. Bruce Wrights, who had done the first heart lung transplant in the world at Stanford University. And I wrote him a letter requesting him that I should come there as an observer.
So this
So-
was the turning point in your life where you decided like, let me opt for the lung transplantation, not just the heart.
Let me learn and see if I can do it
I
here.
can.
If there
Okay.
is nobody doing it, like I lost my brother, I'm sure there will be lots of other people who would be needing heart lung transplant and lung
In India
transplant.
at least. Okay.
And
That's
he was
what.
only 53 years old.
Okay. I was thinking like how can someone be so futuristic that when whole world is operating on hearts and kidneys and suddenly somebody is coming, okay, I'll pick up lung now. Okay, so
That is the reason.
that is the reason.
So what happened is then I rose to Bruce Wrights.
Okay.
Bruce Wrights invited me. So the summer of 2004, 6 weeks I spent in Stanford University at Palo Alto. And in Stanford University, I thought that lung transplantation, I went for 6 procurements and saw 6 lung transplants in that 6 weeks. But over there, they convinced me that India has got malaria, malnutrition, and that I should focus on all these things rather than heart
That's
and
so
lung
rude of
transplant.
them, yeah.
So when I came back, I was a little depressed. I had spent a lot of money. Palo Alto is very expensive,
Okay.
and I'd gone with my own money, so I'd spent a lot of money.
But I'm sure it was not just about money. You were depressed because of their words, and
Correct. I was
you lost
depressed.
hope that,
This
okay,
malaria and malnutrition
nutrition.
was the words they wrote on my mind. Now at that time I used to operate at Bridge Candy and I used to operate at Singhania Hospital, which are two. One is in the southern part of Bombay and one is in the northern part of Bombay. So I used to drive between these 2 points. And at that time I used to convert my car into a PhD room because I used to buy all these audio books on CDs. That time we used to get CDs. It was
Okay.
the Audible was not there.
Okay.
So I would put a CD. So a new CD had just come by APJ Kalam, The Wings of Fire.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was
I
read by Girish Karnad, who
Okay.
was my favorite actor because I had
Girish Karnad.
Girish Karnad,
Okay.
who had acted in a movie called Swami with Shabana Azmi.
Okay.
That is, if in all of Bollywood, if there is any character I thought I should be like,
So that was Swami.
that was Swami.
Okay.
I would
should
have
go
loved
back
to be
and
like, yeah.
see that movie.
I would recommend. It's a beautiful movie.
Okay.
It's an unforgettable movie, and I always wanted to be like Swami in that
Okay.
movie. So when Girish Karnad's CD came out, I bought it. I put the cassette, and there I read one sentence. I heard one sentence. Then I read the book also. APJ Kalam says that we are not a screwdriver nation. We are intelligent and we can do it. And then he tells the story of how he flew satellites into space and he had made voice directed nuclear weapons and he made a rocket assisted takeoff. That means an airplane can get off with a very short runway. What was happening was our fighter planes, by the time they reach Karachi, the fuel would get exhausted and the passion to fight also would get exhausted.
Okay.
So this ratto he made, which is with a short runway, you can go over. So within a very short time, you can go from this side of the mountains to the other side
Okay.
and attack the enemy.
Okay.
So he could do all these things.
Then you thought you can also do it.
Correct. So I thought that maybe I need to start lung transplant program. And from there, Stanford, I had gone to Pittsburgh
Okay.
for a fellowship. And when to apply for a fellowship, I had gone for an interview to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the Mecca of transplantation.
Okay.
So I went over there and I was surprised that in September, just 2 months after I had come back from USA, I had an offer letter offering me a 2-year fellowship in heart and lung transplantation at the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay, but you were not aware that you already having a letter in your hand.
No, the letter came in September.
Okay.
I had gone there in May and June.
Okay.
I came back, by the time I came back,
The
after
letter
6
was
weeks,
there.
it was July maybe.
Okay.
So August, September, they must have checked all the interviewers and sent me an offer letter, which I was to sign and send it back to them so that they can process the visa. So that's how.
You started the lung transplantation.
So
You learned the lung transplantation.
So I went next year on 2005, July. I landed on 4th of July, which is the American Independence Day. I landed on the American soil once again and joined as a fellow in heart and lung transplant at the University of Pittsburgh, which was a 2-year fellowship. So 2005 to 2007, I was a fellow. And then I went to Temple University because my boss recommended me strongly. That program was put on hold because most of the surgeons over there were 4 surgeons there, they were more interested in heart but not in lung.
In the lung.
So
Okay.
I was strongly recommended by my mentor, and I got a faculty position over there, which was by serendipity, divine works.
Yeah.
I became a faculty where I did 71 lung transplants in 105 days. So they
Yeah,
did
I've
a
seen this in the magazine. You
correct.
have
So they
showed
did a
me.
cover
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. You did
So
it.
they did a cover story.
You carrying the organs and flying. I've seen that in the magazine. You
Correct.
shared that with me. I was thinking like, you are not facing any financial things like. What about the finances? You're learning and all these things. I
No,
mean,
no,
was your
it was a paid fellowship. So I used to not only earn to support my family, which was at that time, my son had just gone to medical college in Pravara, and I used to send him that much money home.
okay?
And slowly my wife used to come intermittently and go back because she would fly from Pittsburgh and go to Pravara, which
Okay.
was in Loni, which is near Shirdi.
Okay.
30 kilometers from Shirdi is a education town where there are all these medical college and engineering college. It's called Pravara Institute of Medical Sciences. That's where my son was.
Okay. So you learned there.
So I
The
learned there. I was being paid almost $100,000 per year. So I was getting enough $3,000, $4,000. I could support my family in India,
and
my
you can
son's
pursue your dream
education, and
and
as
your
well as
dreams.
myself.
Okay.
And plus, we used to get incentives for procuring organs. So every time I went for procurement, I would get paid for lung $500, for heart $250.
Okay.
So the, I could support easily the family.
Okay, but you are having a wonderful life there, but still you want to come back to India. You left that American dream and came back to India. Like, was it challenging for you because you were already having a lavish life there, and here in India, what you have learned, practicing that back in India was a quite challenge because in as you already mentioned, like we don't have that ICUs, that OTs, and the teams and surgeons. Like, but you still came back.
Yeah, so what happened was after I was a full faculty at Temple University, my mentor at Pittsburgh, he had a vacancy. So he called me back and I became a faculty for 2 more years at the University of Pittsburgh. It is because of that I could afford to buy a house where I was living in King Circle, where I
Okay.
was born.
Okay.
And I could save enough money because I was a faculty. At that time, now my income had shot up much, almost tripled from what I was being paid as a fellow. Now, when that I always wanted to stay in India, I had not thought about. I had never even applied for a green card, and when you do your taxes, there is a company called HNR Block.
Okay.
They do fill up your income tax this
Okay.
thing and pay the government. So I was surprised since I had never wanted to stay back in USA. I got a writ check in my mailbox one day of $88,000. That was a refund of my tax that year from the federal government because there was a treaty between
Okay.
India and that you don't need to pay tax in USA if you are not planning to stay back in USA.
Okay.
So this thing, one year I got 88, next year I got $40,000. I wanted to come back from the very beginning. When I came back, your question was, how did you manage all these things?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no lung transplantation in India. So, in the month of December of 2010, Dr. Zarir Udwadia had invited me to give a talk on his in the summit, pulmonology summit, which he used to conduct every December. In the 6th summit which he conducted, he called me, and the topic he gave me was lung transplant surgeon's role in interstitial lung disease.
Okay.
So I gave a talk on lung transplantation over there. Now I didn't know that after the meeting, after the talk, he had arranged a meeting with the Hinduja family.
Okay.
So there was an interview. There were all the Hinduja trustees and Dr. Dawar, who was the director of professional services. So they interviewed me and then they decided to offer me a job at Hinduja Hospital. So on 1st April 2011, I came back to India and joined Hinduja Hospital.
In Hinduja Hospital only you have done the first lung transplant, right?
Correct, yeah. Now before that, 1 month before that, Hinduja Hospital sent Zari Rudwadia, Rajiv Soman, one nurse from the OT, Ayesha, and one nurse from the ICU, Rashmi. And two anesthesiologists and one junior surgeon. They sent these people to Pittsburgh. So Zari Rudwadia saw me doing a lung transplantation over there. We had all other people saw lung transplantation because
the first time they too have seen it for the first time.
correct. At that time, we were the largest program in the world.
Okay.
More than Toronto General. We did 120.
That's amazing.
That's right. So Zarir saw that. He attended all the meetings. He attended the outpatient department. And therefore, he called me, asked me to join on 1st of April. So I joined Hinduja Hospital. And then every Thursday morning between 8 and 9, we used to start the theatre at 8 o'clock. But on Thursday, the nurses had arranged it that they would start 1 hour late. They would have their nursing education.
Okay.
So we used to do simulation meeting.
Okay.
So we used to pretend we are doing lung
transplant. Yeah.
And that continued. And I could do a successful lung transplant, which went uneventfully.
But that was an historic OT, right? It was covered everywhere. I was just going through the websites and articles and all that. So I was just wondering, we don't have such kind of support. Support chudi. I mean, we don't have trained personnel also who can assist you in all these surgeries. But was there any any criticism or resistance from the other team members which you have to overcome to to do this historic kind of OT?
Now the team members were Zarir, Rajiv Soman, Asia, Rashmi, and two anesthesiologists, Supriya Gajendra.
You never had any criticism for this kind of...
No, they had seen me operate in USA, so they knew. They had followed up my patients.
I mean, people from other hospitals, like, what are you people doing? You people don't even have that infrastructure. You bought somebody from Temple University and making him do surgery here. They didn't, come up with that things.
I didn't come to know. I was totally
you
focused.
You were totally focused on surgery. Let them talk.
Correct. Let them talk. And besides, I am not the person who goes...
But you have already done, hundreds of surgeries there. So it was like just another surgery for you.
Correct.
But in a new place.
In a new place.
But what was going in your mind in that, before doing this historic OT in India? Like...
I think it was all divine works because Ameya Uddyavar was the cardiologist. He had done an angioplasty. After the angioplasty, the patient had developed a stroke and had become brain dead. You cannot believe when I tell you that it was actually Ameya Uddyavar who pushed me, and he said, go to the OT because they are taking the donor for liver, and the wife has donated the organ, but the brothers and the rest of the family are not willing for donation. So you just go there and take the lungs. And I took the lungs and
done a wonderful surgery.
Everybody was present. Zarir came, everybody came to the theatre, and we did a successful lung transplant. After the first lung was functioning well, I was going to do the other side. They said, no, everything is fine. Don't do anything more.
We'll stop it here. We'll let the person survive with one lung. Yeah, in few patients we do single lung transplants also, right?
Correct. For interstitial lung disease, you can do single lung. She didn't have pulmonary hypertension, so. And On the 19th day, we could discharge her, and we kept her for 2 days because the hospital wanted to do a press conference.
Okay.
So on the day of
That's
discharge,
amazing.
the press conference was done, not like most of the press conferences are done the day the operation,
After that,
on
because
the day of
your
discharge.
focus was only on the surgery, all this press conference and all that can be done later. Only
Later,
patient and the patient
patient
care,
has to, yeah,
that's it. So many of the people, I mean, for all the listeners or so many of us, I mean, people who are other than medical backgrounds and all that, they don't know there is something called as lung transplant. Lungs are the organs which can also be transplanted. Wherever, I mean, if I say somebody like, okay, I worked in lung transplant unit, with okay, lungs be transplant karte kya? They say like that. So just for the knowledge of the viewers, can you just tell us like what is lung transplant? What are the indications? Like who are the people who can be benefited by lung transplantation?
yes. Very good, Rafath. That's a very good and important question. Lung is the organ which
Very
is,
delicate organ, right?
it's a delicate organ. It is the most complex organ, more complex than lung transplantation is more complex than heart.
Yeah.
See, first heart transplant was done on 3rd December 1967. The first heart lung transplant was done in 1981, but the first successful lung transplant was done in 1983. 27 November means almost at the end of 83. So it is the most complex organ. The role of lung, it is situated in the chest cavity on both sides. The role of the lung is to extract oxygen from air and put it into the blood. And the job of the heart, the role of the heart according to divine works, is to distribute that oxygen to the rest of the body. Because as you know, that oxygen is required for all organs to survive,
Yeah.
for all tissues to survive. And the oxygen is extracted by the lungs and distributed by the heart, and they work together in unison. So I hope that would clear. Now what we do in lung transplant is these patients who are brain dead, who become brain dead, that means their brain is dead, but their heart is working, their lungs are oxygenating, the liver is metabolizing, and the kidney is making urine. Now, if the family believes that, agrees that this patient is dead and their loved one is dead, and now they have an opportunity to donate the organs and they give consent for donation, then the lungs can be taken and implanted in a person whose diagnosis may be end stage lung disease, is end stage lung disease for various causes. It can be ILD, COPD, many other this thing.
To name few, sir, COPD, ILD,
ILD, primary
and
pulmonary
primary
hypertension, and bronchiectasis. These are the
bronchiectasis.
4 common conditions.
I read some articles, sir. Maybe in lung cancer patients also they were doing.
Correct.
Are they doing
Recently,
Recently.
Dr. Ankit Bharat, incidentally, he happens to be of Indian origin.
Lung cancer,
and
right?
he has done his MCH from CMC Vellore.
Okay.
But he is emigrated to USA.
Okay.
And he is the chief at Northwestern University in Chicago. He is the first one to push the borders of lung transplantation to malignancy. So he's the one. We had invited him for a conference in Ahmedabad last year, where I was the organizing secretary.
Okay.
And he's the first one to push the border. So lung cancer is another indication which is not yet universally accepted, but Ankit Bharat's data is impressive. So it's possible that in the next decade there may be more lung transplantations for cancer of the lung.
But as of now, these are these primary like ILD, primary pulmonary hypertension, bronchiectasis, and COPD
That's
are
right.
the main indications.
Correct.
Like, can I just say that all the patients who are on oxygen dependent, living a life of oxygen dependency, can opt for a transplant?
Correct.
How to evaluate that?
Correct. The moment a person requires oxygen, even 1 liter, at rest or at walking, even on exertion, then he will usually be a candidate for lung transplantation. Now, when will you operate?
Yeah,
Timing
like
of the
what is the
operation,
timing of the
that is
surgery?
when they have to be sick enough to need a transplant, but well enough to tolerate the operation. So that is
That's a
called as
tricky
a
thing.
transplant window.
Transplant window, okay.
So you are sick enough to need a transplant, but well enough to get operated,
operate the, I mean, to bear the surgery,
to bear the
surgical
surgery.
surgical
Yeah.
stress. Okay, how to
So
decide it? What
so
decides?
when you're in, for example, in ILD, there are international guidelines. You know, according to the guidelines, if you desaturate on exertion below 88%, that means you have need a lung transplant. Or if your DLCO, that means diffusion lung capacity for carbon monoxide, falls below 40% or falls up to 40%, it means that you need lung transplantation.
Okay.
These are the indicators.
Indicators like.
For bronchiectasis, for example, which is an infective disease, you would need lung transplantation if you require admission to the hospital 2 times in a year, requiring IV antibiotics. Then it is
Just
better.
remove and get a new one. It's not that simple. Remove and get a new one, but
Correct.
you
So
can
you get listed. So what happens? These guidelines are divided: timing for referral and timing for transplant, which means
transplant.
listing.
So the in between time is the transplant window. Like how to approach, who to approach first? Where can the patient go and ask for a transplant?
No, he is to be referred to a transplant center.
Okay.
It is the transplant center who will evaluate the patient. So all testing will be done. All different consultants will check, make sure that all the other systems are also working, and then they will put his name down for listing for transplant according to the indication after a multidisciplinary lung transplant selection committee meeting, where there will be a pulmonologist, physiotherapist, psychologist, dietitian,
Cardiologist,
everybody, like you have attended.
yeah.
So we have a multidisciplinary meeting. Then we say that this patient should be listed now, and we list the patient. And then as soon as the organ, then his name is not written by the patient. His name is written with the government, listing with the government by the institution.
So that they can get an organ.
Correct.
In Jeevan
In
Dan.
the, yeah, like Jivandan in Telangana and Noto in India.
Yeah,
So
Noto
if there
and
is,
Soto, I think.
correct,
Right?
Soto is the
State one.
state organ and tissue transplantation organization. Noto is
Is it
National
national
Organ and Tissue Transplantation Organization.
Okay.
NOTTO, National Organ and Tissue Transplantation Organization.
But I've seen that. So you mean that the patient should only approach a transplant clinic, not in the other clinics, because I've seen many people from the peripheries. They are dependent on oxygen, but they are not even aware of a option of transplant. Like what can we do about it? Like
No, we have to create awareness if they are in end stage. See, if you have an infection and you are oxygen dependent, it's a temporary thing. Once the infection clears, patient will be without oxygen. This is when a patient is on oxygen with end stage lung disease. Then he should be referred to a transplant center. Those are the guidelines. And this awareness we have to create among the general pulmonologist.
Okay.
So these general pulmonologists will refer the patient to a transplant pulmonologist. So the difference between a general pulmonologist and a transplant pulmonologist is that general pulmonologist who has taken up 2 years of fellowship or has taken 1 year fellowship in Toronto General Hospital and is focused experience on lung transplantation. And then he comes back and decides to practice lung transplantation.
Okay.
So the general pulmonologist should refer the patient to a lung transplant pulmonologist.
From there it goes to surgeon.
Then the
evaluates
surgeon is a team, part of the team of the.
Thing. Okay, good.
So the first person to refer a patient in India was Dr. Zari Rudwadia. He was the first person. He came over there because he used to see his patients die from end-stage lung disease. So he called me and um, referred me. Therefore, I got the credit of being the first surgeon to do a lung transplantation on an Indian patient.
Okay, you have worked in states like in Temple University, and you came back to India. Like, how far are we compared to them? Like, what are our standards compared to them? Are we any close to them, or I mean,
No,
above
no,
that?
we
It's a
have a long
difficult,
way to go.
long way to go.
See,
Of course.
obviously, they started their program in 1983 or 84, and we have started in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
The first Indian to get lung transplantation
It
was
was in
11th
2011.
July
Yeah,
2012.
2011. I think 11, right?
2000, no, 12.
12.
In
Okay.
2011 I came, it took
Mm.
this thing. But it could have been 11, but she was not willing for surgery, been having no precedent.
That too, becoming a historical patient, anybody will get scared.
Correct.
Like, yeah.
So
But
when she
India
was
is a
told,
superpower. Like, what is lagging in us? Why can't we become global leader in transplant,
no,
especially in
no,
lung transplant?
no, we will eventually, we
Mm.
will, because as the technology progresses and
Mm.
all that, we will become a big program. We will, we may not reach United States as yet, but of course we have the brains and we have the diligence to do that. But United States has one unique thing, is that they have what is known as chairs, and they have support for research.
Okay.
So a person can be in research for 20 years and get a livelihood. In other countries, including Europe, if you look at the 20th century, all new knowledge has come from USA. 19th century, it was from Europe. It's because the now I'll give you an example. Dr. Brack Hatler, who was one of my mentors,
Mm.
he operated on Henry Ford Jr.'s wife, Catherine Ford.
Okay.
She came to Pittsburgh and he operated on her, and she had an uneventful recovery. Luckily, I don't want to go into the details of
Okay.
the story of how we operated because I was involved in that. Anyway, so when she was getting discharged, she made a chair. It was called the Brack G. Hatler chair, but it's a Henry Ford chair.
Okay.
Which means she gave $2 million
Mm-hmm.
to Dr. Brack Hatler. It's not the money that is given to him.
Mm.
Whatever interest $2 million from her assets generates comes to Dr. Hatler.
Okay.
Whereas in India, what we do is a rich man who has got 500 crores will build a temple.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Like I told you,
Yeah, yeah.
one of my patients. So once we start making chairs like this,
Mm.
now
And
after
focusing
doctor
on
had,
research and
then these
medicine,
doctors
education.
can, they saying research scientists can be supported with this income which is generated. Now
But we
the
have
two
ICMR also here. I think they also support some
correct,
junior and
absolutely, it's
senior
beginning,
side.
yes,
Yeah.
but the amount of money that is going into temples, if all that went into
Oh,
research, then
research, of
India
course,
would
will.
become definitely a leading nation in research, because it's not that the brains we are lacking,
It's about the
it's
funds. It's about the funds.
like Abdul Kalam was supported by Indira Gandhi, who made 7 exceptions to all government protocols that facilitate him, and therefore he was successful in sending our satellites in space and having voice directed nuclear weapons,
Mm.
which are all indigenous. They are not like in Pakistan, which are bought from other countries.
Yeah.
We have done our own.
Yeah. So, according to you, our main barriers are funds in research or capacity building and awareness, which patient, I think
Yes.
it is us who has to give them awareness. How will they know about such
Now see,
options?
right now all lung transplants are happening in Telangana and Chennai.
Yeah, we are. I think in South has the biggest numbers of
Correct.
transplantations. Yeah.
And South is also generating maximum number of donors.
Donors also.
So Telangana is making the highest. That's why a Bombay guy has to come to Telangana.
Yeah, Jeevan Dan program, it's the highest,
Highest
highest
in
among
lung
the all
in
other.
organ donation.
Yeah, so.
So this kind of motivation has to spread to each and every state in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have people like people who are over here focusing and encourage. The government is encouraging them to have creating organ donation awareness and helping them to
For the recipients
yeah,
also.
now for example Yashoda Hospital, Dr. Gora Kunti, Pawan Gora Kunti, he was passionate about this thing. So when an institution is passionate, then and the surgeon is passionate, and these two come together as a team, then the organ, then the lung transplant program will get established. Otherwise, if you look at the studies, out of 60% of the programs which start are get closed down within 2 years. So only 40% function all over the world. So my thinking is that unless now Dr. Bhaskar Rao, who is a cardiac surgeon, and Sandeep Attawar, so a hospital and
the team of doctors, which
correct,
is
Pawan Gorakunti and myself, we came together this thing, so we could establish a lung transplant program at Yashoda
Hospitals. That was very insightful.
These two have to, otherwise most of the programs will, because lung transplantation is the most complex medical endeavor undertaken by mankind, by man. It's the most complex medical endeavor.
Okay.
Now if you see the median survival of heart transplant, it is 13.6 years.
But here
median,
I think 5 years, right?
6.5.
6.5.
Half of that. So when we were talking about future authoring, the idea was to bring about an increase in the median survival of lung transplant, so that when these people write their future, they have better outcomes and they get motivated and they find a purpose and meaning to their existence.
How do you feel when all these patients call you back and they keep in touch when they are living their second life? How do you feel about it?
I feel a sense of fulfillment. I feel that I have lived my life not in vain.
When I was working with you, then few of your patients follow me also. They text me and all that. It feels good. Of course, I didn't operate it on them, but
now, for example, Nidhi Kapoor from Delhi, she always asks me about you.
Yeah, she and her mother, both of them are in touch with me. They call me and they text me. Even Shreyansh from the other patients, and actually we started our friendships just in the ICU and all that. They still keep in touch with us. I mean, that's nice. So आप तो operate करे, आपको तो I mean they see you as some kind of angel, I think. Yeah, right.
No, I mean that's their greatness, and this thing for me. I work for the Lord.
Yeah.
For me, I would think that they are the face of the divine. And I offer all my work as a worship to them. So there are 6 principles which I follow in surgery. The first one, which is the most important to me, is safety. Second is simplicity. Third is excellence, ethical, evolution. And I added the 6th one, try to make it as inexpensive as possible.
That is very, very important, so that everybody can afford it without the burden.
See, right now lung transplantation is only with the corporates. There is no government institution or program which is running a lung transplant program.
Yeah. What can we do about it, sir? I always think whenever now I'm in government institute, I have worked not all my life. Previously, I worked in corporates. The life in corporate and the life in government is so different. But the government institute must be at par when compared to private, right? Because the state or the nation can support the institutes and we can get them the best. But we don't have such things.
Right now we don't have, because I don't know the reason, but you only gave me the idea.
To start in government setup, right?
to do approach Christian Medical College. I have been constantly trying to approach All India Institute
Yeah.
and PGI, but somehow things were not moving there for various reasons.
But we have so many other government institutes. I think we can also create a capacity there and start the transplant programs. I think it's your responsibility to teach the next coming generation the craft and make India sustainable in the transplants.
Absolutely, that's what
Yeah.
I'm waiting to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm living for.
Yeah. Like, how are we going to do it? That is very important. Like, I mean, I don't know what
How
to
are
do
we
about
going to
it.
do? We have to approach them, or we have to this thing. I mean, they have to be motivated because, like I said, unless the surgeon and the management both come together as a team with the equal amount of passion, these lung transplant program then, because see, initially there may be not so good outcomes, and the transplant management, if they are not passionate, they will lose the interest.
Can you explain the burden of the lung disease, sir? Like in India,
Oh,
like how much India needs transplant, and why are we
there are
ignoring
some
it?
pulmonologists who are maintaining a registry for interstitial lung disease.
Mm.
Now, in these 13 years that I've been practicing in India, I have got all the references for interstitial lung disease. Only 2 references I have got for COPD. One was a patient from Dhaka, and one was a patient who already had a bone marrow transplant. But otherwise, life sustenance is possible. I mean, increases lung transplant, increases longevity only for interstitial lung disease. For COPD, it increases the quality of life and maybe not so much a life expectancy. But for interstitial lung disease, primary pulmonary hypertension, bronchiectasis, it does increase the not only the quality but
Morbidity and
also
mortality both can be taken care of.
correct, and the longevity is
Yeah.
longevity is
Longevity. One last question, then we'll wind up the session. I mean, please let us know your vision of making India a lung transplant leader or training the next generation of surgeons in this craft. Like, what is your vision? How can we do it?
excellent question, Rafath. Leaving a legacy
Yeah.
is a great feeling to
Yes.
leave a legacy.
Mm.
So my thinking right now is that India needs more, the whole of northern India, eastern and western India. Right now, South India is leading in transplantation, in organ donation.
Mm.
The
They're
other,
aware of it. They
they
know
are
the
aware of
importance
it
of it. Yeah.
because they have worked for it. I mean, they have created awareness among the people of South
Yeah.
India. Also, they are passionately wanting to establish these programs and want to serve the community. So, the other states have to learn from us, from
The South. From
from the
us.
south, from you. We have to learn from you. And as Tamil Nadu implemented certain 8 government orders which facilitate the lung transplant, Tamil Nadu began. um there was in a British Medical Journal a cartoon which said where a doctor is talking to a patient and the doctor is advising the patient that you need a kidney transplant, and then his hand is showing go to Madras. That's the kidney market of the world.
Okay.
When the government of Tamil Nadu saw that, they ordered a meeting, 3-day meeting with all the transplant people of the state,
State.
and they decided to introduce government orders. These are facilitatory orders, they are not punitive orders. They mandated that every hospital should certify brain death, and they made several orders. And then they wanted to increase the government cadaveric transplant program. Instead of living program, they wanted to increase the cadaveric program. And they made changes. And we, other states like Maharashtra and northern India like Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, none of
UP.
these states have any organ donation. they have to learn from Tamil Nadu and from the southern states, Telangana, and implement changes about donor awareness.
Okay, so government should step in. And one more thing, is transplant only for the rich?
Correct. It is not. It should be that those people who are driving two-wheelers, getting into accidents, donating organs, right now, today, if their family needs a lung transplant, they cannot afford it.
Because
40
I think
lakhs,
because
30 lakhs, 40 lakhs.
and post surgery also, there is a
and
maintenance cost
post-surgery.
because of the immunosuppression and all
Correct.
that.
Another 30,000 rupees per month. We have to encourage government institutions.
Yeah.
For example, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, PGI Chandigarh, CMC Vellore.
NIMS.
These NIMS.
Gandhi, Usmania.
Yeah, Gandhi,
everywhere
Usmania.
we can do.
Yeah,
Everywhere. Yeah.
everywhere there should be
A transplant unit, not for the lung, maybe for other organs too.
Correct. Now other organs are not as expensive as
lung.
Because right now the lungs are captured by the corporates only.
Okay.
They are not available to a common man. There is no, whereas a kidney can be done. Like you can go to UN Mehta or Kidney Center in Ahmedabad. You can get a free. In Tamil Nadu, lifetime of immunosuppression is taken care of by the government. And the government facilitates kidney transplantation and takes care of the people.
The cost of immunosuppression for a kidney transplant is different.
No,
with the cost
it's the same.
of the
It
same,
would be
right?
the same.
Then when we can do it for kidney, why not for the lungs?
For the lung also.
Okay.
So we have to bring down the cost of the lung transplantation.
Cost of the surgery itself and make it affordable and accessible to the common people by starting it in a public sector.
Correct.
Not just in the private one.
Yeah. I have devised one solution for preservation of the lung.
Okay.
In this last Jaipur meeting, I have presented that paper.
You taught me this previously, but when I was working with you, I think I forgot that. You have done it again, like...
No, that was the idea. Now we have actually sat down, put our minds, and we have done it. So Dr. Balakrishnan may come up with animal experiments and we may work together and produce a solution called Indian solution, which will be... which we hope will be as big as or as useful as Perfodex. Perfodex costs 80. Yeah.
Yes, Perfodex.
It costs 70,000-80,000 per liter.
Okay.
When I did the first, it was costing 22,000. Now it is almost 80,000.
80,000. Okay. Okay, that was about the patient part. If
so 7 liters means 7 lakhs.
7 lakhs we need for
solution. Preservative solution.
Okay. Then we should come up with some good solution.
Absolutely.
Cost effective.
Yeah.
That itself bring down the cost of the surgery to half.
Correct.
I think.
So I have sat down, studied everything, made a solution, given the material to Dr. Balakrishnan, and we will sit down and try to do animal experiments and compare, because it has to be gone through the scientific process of first animal experimentation and then going to... So before we go to large animal, we may even do it on small animals.
Small animals, okay. That was
then go to human experimentation.
That was for the patients and hospitals. What about the students? Suppose some surgeons or like some cardiothoracic surgeons or some pulmonologists who want to opt for the transplant. Like where can they learn about it? Like do we have any fellowships?
Recently, I think Dr. Bhaskar Rao and Vijil Rahulan have started a fellowship at KIMS. It is a medical fellowship. I don't know if surgical Yashoda has started or not. I don't know.
Why are you not starting it, sir? I think you are the right person to start it. Like,
I'm also working on it.
When are you going to do it, sir? Like any news we can spread through this? Like,
I don't have any...
Very at the nascent stage or
nascent stage. There are some talks going on, but nothing has materialized. So I hope that in the next year or this coming year, I may have some news where I can start teaching aggressively and actively, proactively, training junior surgeons. But I have trained 13 cardiac surgeons in US, and the methodology would be the same. We
But it will be available in India.
Yeah.
Nobody has to, go
Correct.
away
Correct.
and learn it.
So basic, like we do all the other knowledge, so they can go for advanced fellowship. But the basic lung transplant, they should be able to learn here and do it in India itself.
Okay.
Like they are doing coronary bypass surgery in India today.
Feels good when we think or hear about all these things. I wish you all the best to, I pray that all your dreams come true and all your ideas get materialized. That was a wonderful, wonderful session with the legend, Dr. Jnanaesh Thacker. Thanks for coming, and I'm winding up this here.
Thank you,
Thank
Rafath,
you.
for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.